Okay, we're recording. I hit them both at the same time. We're up and running. Um, as always, I'm Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran campaign setting. We use Dungeons and Dragons heavily homebrewed to navigate and play through our story. And these awesome folks that are joining me here on this Sunday afternoon are here to help me write this story, one chapter at a time. Danny will not be able to join us. I believe he said he was in Atlanta. As we've discussed numerous times, he gets called out to fly at random times. His work's very important. So I just talked with him for at least an hour earlier today and kind of gave him some spoilers about what the group's going to run into tonight. And he's gave me his input, what he would like to do moving forward. So I will be taking over acting for Finn tonight if it comes to that. Okay. Let's go ahead and go through introductions. Let's start with over here. Colby, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Colby, and I'll be playing Arsin, who is a Draken who has been in the Netherfall and is now a Shadow Draken who is trying to remember his past. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I mean, that's good. You're not wrong, sir. Let's go ahead and head down below you. Let's talk to Jeremy. What's up?
I'll be playing the part of Rook, the Netherscorn Boldros, who has his memories and is paying for every last one of them.
Yeah, that's neat. That's well put, sir. Well played. And last but certainly not least, Bella, please go ahead.
I'm Bella. I'm playing Azara, which is she's a dancer and she's seemingly human most of the time. But she's a Darkwood, which is a pretty funky, cool race.
Right on. Thank you. Yes. It's neat that one of our first Darkwood characters is one of the most upbeat and happy of the group, at least on the outside. So, moving past that, let's do a quick recap for everyone, including us. We've discussed this a little bit off camera before we got started, but just to kind of let people know where we're at and what we're doing. When we ended the last episode of Plan B, the group had a win. They were able to chase off these spiders that seemed to erupt and come out of this box that Rook had been contracted to bring to this particular group. The way in which it was described to Rook, there was nothing sinister about this. As a matter of fact, what was the name of the person again? Jeremy, do you remember what his name is? Serkan? Was it something like that? Had actually painted the picture that he felt that if he were to deliver the package, bad people could follow him, and he wanted to keep his distance. He really painted a nice picture, and it did fool Rook. And when he brought that there, and then he erupted with these spiders, Rok and Arsin, having ties to the Netherfall, were able to see some things going on in that other realm of existence. That shadow realm is always kind of present and always there if you know to look for it, and jumped in and helped save the day. They made the encounter much easier by what they did in their time. When the dust cleared, Finn had cast some neat spells. I think he put a crap load of them to sleep and had done some other things. He worked with the guard there, the Falcon Guard of New Gamdar, and helped keep the people back. And if I'm not mistaken, we saw Hector do some things that maybe Azara had never seen him do before. Act in ways maybe she had never seen him act. And there is a lot of tension between her side of things, her family, the caravan, and the whole Circ Mystique side of things versus Rook, wanting to hold his own here. He's not the type exactly to come out and say, I'm very sorry for what happened here. He was fooled as well. you know. So there's this kind of tension, if you will, at the moment. The guard there had gave a summons, which I think we discussed was like our D&D version of like a court summons to appear in court. And we were going to have to act on that the next morning. So we had the night to kind of do what we wanted to do, so to say. Because only Jeremy and Colby were available last time we played, we did an off-camera, unrecorded kind of side quest of those two. And they went up to the temple, the Sanctuary of Wrath, up with Tanima, to see if they could work on their abilities a little bit, just work on their mechanics. They were given an herbal tea by Tanima, and Yakon Ru, which they've got to know pretty decently, was able to help entrance them and put them into a realm where they were going to be able to fight in like this mental space, this other realm. It was going to be happening in their minds, or maybe physically both. They're not sure. But we know that when they lost consciousness, they woke up deep in what appeared to be some darkened, enchanted wilderness-like spot, and Murk Elves had begun to step out of the shadows and surround them. So we have that side of things going on. What we're going to do is we're going to flash back to that every so many moments. And we're also going to flash through what Azara is doing in the wake of everything that's happened. Keep in mind that I believe she has, and her family have went ahead and ushered people out of that old district of New Gemdar, the amphitheater-like area, and told everyone, you know, tonight has been canceled. We'll try to make it up to you and have this again later in the week, possibly tomorrow. So people are in the middle of walking out and leaving this place. Azara is standing there by the caravan. Hector is standing there. There are the dust. It seems like all these spiders that were slain, if I'm not mistaken, turned to like ashes and sand and were just kind of blowing away on the streets. And let's go ahead and start up with Azara right there. Okay. So as the last few people are leaving the theater and are making their way back through the streets, and the ruckus and everything has kind of calmed down. Most of the guards have left. You know, what merchants had grabbed their stuff and were running for the hills have pretty much called it quits for the night. That's been enough excitement. They're not going to sit up this late with it being somewhat cold, you know. As the last of them seem to be walking up these long sets of stone stairways that lead up from the base theater floor of the amphitheater. Azara, you're just kind of left there in this awkward kind of moment. You know, you've said your piece, and I know you were kind of putting on the smile and you were reassuring people and waving them off and telling them, you know, we'll possibly do this again, like I was talking about. But on the inside, there are a lot of questions here. There are a lot of questions that need answering. You saw your father draw a blade from his hand from a pouch of sand. Or your father figure, okay? You saw your sister straight up beast out and lose herself for a little bit, as if she was charmed to some degree. And if I'm not mistaken, at the last episode, you saw the three of them embrace each other as if they were just glad they survived another attempt on their lives. As if Hector was just trying to hold on to what was dear to him. And you noticed, and you pointed out to me, that you were not in that hug. Now, whether that was meant to be damning or not, it happened. Now, after that, I know Hector said a few words to you to try to smooth that over the best as he could. And you feel about that the way you feel about that. but that was kind of the moment that was shared. You're left with the wondering of, did this have anything to do with that kind of sleazy like halfling that made inadvertent threats to you from before? Does this have something to do with Rook, that maybe he's fooled you? Maybe he hasn't. If I'm not mistaken, Rook, didn't you pretty much state your case that definitely was not you? And I think there were like an insight checks made, and I believe that Azara believed you at the end of the last episode.
Yeah,
But
with a grain of salt, but yeah.
yeah,
Case.
but at the same time, do with that what you will. Only you know how your character feels, right? So, what I'll present to you, Azara, is this. The folks are gone. Hector was there. He got down with the brace. He talked to your brother and sister for a few moments. And as those two go up and they start breaking down all the stuff that they had set up for the show, he looks over to you. Okay? And he walks up and he puts his hand on your shoulder. And he kind of looks down. Firmly, but with somewhat of a grin on his face. Okay? And he says, so are we changing any plans or trying to do anything maybe more grand, since we have obviously maybe lost at least half of our audience tonight? Or do you think your plans will still hold up for tomorrow?
I think that may be a musing for the morning. I'm quite tired. I think that I think I need to take some time to have some peace, if that's okay.
As you say that, he looks at you, because usually you're the one that cheers them up, right? And he wasn't expecting this to be such a difficult thing, because he knows you're usually very quick to be on the lighter side of things. And with that answer, you can see the realization across Hector's face that there are things about this that are bothering you. In that moment, he takes his hand off of your shoulder and doesn't know exactly what to do with it, and he kind of awkwardly wipes some dust off of him, maybe from the remnants of a spider that got caught up in his long clothing that he has on, the long tapestry that wraps around him in the way that it does. And he grabs out that, he bends over and grabs that cloth off the ground and begins to wrap it back up and wrap up around his head as he usually does. And he kind of looks at you proudly and he says, well, then in the morning, we'll discuss it then. He looks at you from, and he reaches over and he grabs a pouch that has some coins in it. And he goes to hand it to you. And says that in case you decide you're going to go somewhere, it's okay. In case you decide that you're going to go somewhere you would need some spending money, do not fret about getting whatever it is that you would need tonight. And he hands over a bag of his to you for money that you can have. Yes.
I missed all of that because I froze out of my internet cut out for a second.
I know, it's all good. He hands you a bag of money and says to you, this is for you to go out tonight and do whatever you need to do to clear your head. And it's on him to not have a worry about it. And he hands that to you and kind of lingers off and goes over and helps the others with the breaking down of the set arrangements that they had put up for that night. Okay. for that night's performance. So now you're left in a situation where you're kind of all alone and you don't know how you want to clear your head after all of this. And you do notice that there is one person that's still there and still lingers there. And leaning on the side of the caravan, as he gives a nod, looking over the summons that you guys were given by the new Darkwood guard, is Finn. The Lunesti elf is looking the paperwork over, and he speaks to you before he looks up with his eyes. And he says to you, he goes, so that could have went better, I think. And he rolls up the paper, and he puts it down, and he pushes his back up off the side of the caravan and begins to walk in your direction. As he's brushing himself off, and he kicks through a couple little piles of sand that are left on the ground as it is starting to get to be nighttime. The sun has set, and it's getting dark quickly. Okay? You'll notice there's a strange luminescent glow to Finn's eyes. It's almost, when you really think about it, Finn always kind of looks like he has that glow of night upon him. His skin is tinged a little bit blue. His hair is a little dark. But in this moment, he seems and looks more vibrant than you remember him looking when you first met him. It's odd. It's as if he's in his element right now. Okay? And he also looks more... Actually, roll me an insight check, please.
I rolled a 15. What's the modifier?
For insight, I believe is wisdom. And if you have proficiency in wisdom, it'd be that as well.
So 14 plus 2.
Okay, 16. Good deal. Or you rolled a 15.
A 14, and then the modifier is 2.
Okay, so 2. Okay, cool. So, with that number, Finn looks invigorated. More so than you've seen him so far. Like you saw him in the tavern, and you saw him at different times, but for some reason his eyes seem to be a little bit more open. Seems like he's had a couple cups of joe, There's some kind of energy about him that you can't quite place your finger on, but you do recognize it. Okay? And he says, did you plan on staying behind here and trying to figure out these things on your own? Or did you want to venture out tonight and occupy your mind with something else possibly? If so, I would like to offer you a companion for the afternoon. Someone to, let's say, look for more unwanted gifts or surprises for just a little while.
I think that a companion would be helpful. So, real quick, to tell you kind of something that I'm definitely going to have her do at one point.
Yeah.
Is she is going, I definitely, I think, want her to have a companion for a little bit. But I think there is going to be some point when, because she does have a disguise kit.
Mm-hmm.
And she does have, the
spell?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. Like the thing. Jeremy, it's the thing, damn it, the thing, yeah. What's my component? Spirit fingers. Right on. I get it.
So I think at one point she is going to split off and have some time on her own.
Okay.
But maybe a companion, and there is something about that specifically that maybe, I'm not sure if I should mention now or later.
You do what you want to do, man. It's all good. We like surprises. So you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. It's all good.
Okay, we'll go through the companion thing and then I'll figure out whether or not I want to incorporate that aspect or not.
Okay, cool. That will work. Okay, so he looks over the hilt of a thin blade that he has on his side and kind of tucks it back behind him and pulls down his long kind of overcoat over top of it to look more civil, if it were for maybe just a little bit, right? As he does, you notice there's kind of Finn has a certain kind of etiquette about himself. It's not that he's proper, but it doesn't really come off in an arrogant kind of way. Finn is almost like an emissary in a lot of ways, is the way he comes across. He's formal. He pays attention to details, and when he speaks, it's proper and it's spoken calmly and smoothly. Okay? And as he looks up at the moon, he takes a deep breath, almost like looking at someone that is finally able to go out and see the sun at the beach. He has that same kind of refreshed look upon his face. He says to you, he goes, I know that there are only several places that we've seen thus far in town. Would you plan on revisiting those and searching into them further? Or did you want to explore other options? And he says, I've seen a lot of doors and a lot of signs, and only half of them I've had a chance to read so far.
I think I would like to find somewhere new, but something warm and comforting is something that may be good as well. And when she says that, I'm referring to that one restaurant place where the lady was nice to her. So,
okay. Was that Leah? Leah's rare and exquisite cuisine. The woman looked like Whoopi Goldberg.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think probably mentally she's hoping that there's something small there that she can grab as sort of like a comforting, so I don't know, like a cookie or something like that, where it's like the something where it's like,
That'll
you know.
work. That'll work. So now, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys came. Have you been up through the center of Skywell? And have you been up to Skywatch, the top part of the city yet? Is that where you guys were initially? Yeah, it was, because you came down through that when you got into that conflict originally, correct?
I think so.
You were up there at one point. Okay. So you know that to go to that place, and you saw her up there at that level, because that was when his character first got off the airship, and you were putting up the flyers for Circ Mystique on that large pillar that had all the job postings and shit on it, that it would be back up above the city, up in Skywell. Okay? Which would mean you'd go through the first layer of the city, go to Skywell, traverse that all the way up the side of the mountain, and then up in that part of the city is where that would be. But very doable. People do it all the time. Okay? So, Finn has not been up there yet. So he just kind of looks and he says, well, if you're going to follow your nose, then I'll just leave it to you and I'll follow you.
Very well. And then I think she sort of heads up towards that. But shit. Damn it. I'm trying to think something because I think that she doesn't want to be her right now, but I don't think she's comfortable enough with him to show that she has this ability. You know what I mean?
Well, I get it. But so whatever you want to do is okay. Or maybe it's not. We'll see.
I think I'm wondering if she may sort of pull out like a bullshit sort of excuse real quick. Ah, damn it. I didn't think this until right now.
Okay.
Uh,
So as he's getting ready to follow you, he sees his hesitation in you.
Mhm.
You're dwelling on something, and he looks at you and he says, "Do you know your way exactly, or what are you thinking here?"
I think she may be like, oh, oof, I, uh, I just got a little bit of a pain in my stomach.
A pain.
Yes, I wonder if maybe I should take my time to rest, but I do have a younger cousin who maybe she could accompany you instead, and she can retrieve the treats on my behalf.
Roll a roll a deception check. Yeah.
You said deception.
I did, yes.
Okay, where are my stats? Deception. So I rolled another 14.
Okay.
Deception, charisma, so that's +3. Proficiency bonus
If
I add?
what is the stat that it's based on?
Charisma.
Okay, yeah, then you would, yeah.
So 3 plus 2, and I do have +1 in a skill of that because
Okay.
of the. Oh my god, what is it? There's something that she has. The one of the SPs or add plus to the deception thing. So that's 14 plus. Hold on.
It's all good, man.
14
Get it, you got it.
plus
Figured it.
3, so 17. Proficiency plus 2
19,
plus 1. That's a dirty 20.
20. Wow. Jeremy, roll me a 1d20 and a 1d8, and let's see if Finn's drinking the Kool-Aid or not. Let's see what's going on. What'd you get? Oh, God. What'd you do? Huh?
8.
8. See,
4 on both.
so this is what happens when you actually roll real dice, and sometimes you fail things, Danny, and that's perfectly fine. So, yes, okay. Oh, shit. So, he looks at you, and he kind of looks around and says, I could have escort your cousin, I suppose, if you're going to need some time. And you can see he's looking around. He's thinking like, okay, there was Hector, there was the sister, there was the brother, there was her. A cousin? They're not from here. And you can see him just kind of like, he's trying to size it up and stuff, but he's being polite. Okay?
She tends to stay back in the caravan. She helps us with mending costumes and stuff. She's not out frequently. I will go lay down and I will send her out. Then she. Is that all right?
Yes, that'll be fine. That would be fine.
I think she kind of wanders back towards the caravan and gets Hector or the siblings' attention, and I think they are familiar with most of her forms.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I think she's like, I am feeling ill. I am going to lay down, but I'm going to get Aluna and send her out so she can retrieve something with our new friend over there.
Write
I
that down. Aluna, the cousin.
So we have old man, Aluna, the cousin.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So when you get to this in your own time, however you want to go about this, I want you to first off roll a spell check. You know, like if you were going to cast a spell like the DC, just so I can see how well you produce this person. And then I'm going to have you describe her or him, however you're trying to do this. Cousin could be a dude. whatever you want to do here, this is going to be interesting. So you're going through those motions. Do you go into the caravan to do this?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. When you're done, roll
So
that DC for me
spell-
and tell me what you get.
So I roll a d20.
Yeah, D20 plus your spell save DC stuff.
I need to find that.
That would be underneath that middle rectangle that tells you what your weapons are and your attacks. Below that are going to be two little what looks like scrolls. And that's going to be your spell attack. It's the first one. And then the second one over to the furthest right hand side of your character sheet is going to be your spell save DC. So you roll 1d20 and add that bonus to it.
Spell save. So both of them are +5. I rolled a 7, so a 12.
A 12. Okay. Describe to me what you're wanting to do and tell me when you come out of there, what you're doing.
I think, is she able to modify her height or no?
To a
With
degree.
To a degree. So I think that it is somebody who is shorter and younger, and I'm trying to think.
Now, at the time you were having this conversation with him, what version of us did we see here? I should have made you point that out sooner. It was the
Normal Azara.
normal Azara, okay, Damyrian looking, tan skinned, dark haired. Yes, okay. So this is a younger version of you. This is female.
Female looks more similar to Daphne than Azara.
Okay.
Younger with shorter and a slightly different hair and eye color. So instead of like the dark black, maybe like more of like a reddish brown, and instead of like kind of darker brown eyes, maybe like a more hazel-ish.
Okay. Okay. And Alluvia?
Aluna.
Aluna. With an A or an I?
A.
Aluna. I like that. Okay. So, are you
The
walking
reason,
around?
the reason why she is thinking about doing this at all is, first of all, she doesn't know any of these new people, so she's not exactly going to be like, hold on, I don't feel super safe right now because we were all just attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going up towards the place where she initially saw he was a halfling, right?
Was, yes.
So she's going up in the direction towards where he was initially. They were just attacked because of something tied to him, and she's going to be on her own without her family with somebody she doesn't know very well. So it's like the changing her appearance is more of a safeguard thing.
Okay.
And she started having the conversation of, oh, I need a companion, I need to get out of here before that hit. So that's why this Aluna is coming out. And it's not, again, she doesn't know Finn very well, so it's not gonna be like, hold on, let me put on my face, a new face so I feel safe type thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I think she's like, comes out after like a minute and kind of just, hi, it's a pleasure to meet. Like, energy completely different. Like,
This is
Azara
a
was
cheerier
very tired.
version. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Azara was very, I think, tired, like very mentally, emotionally tired in many ways. And currently she's pushing past it, putting on the mask and being like, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so excited to see this city. She gave me the directions of where she said this new place, the food place was.
You see the dim fogs of regret washing over top of Finn's face as you do this, as if he's like, oh, okay. And he straightens himself and corrects his posture. And he says, I'm hoping that Azara has given you directions to this place where she wants a particular food from. Has she shared this information with you? And you are, who are you again?
My name is Aluna. I am her cousin. I don't really like to be the face of things as much, so I stay back and I help with mending and such. But If my cousin wants to get a sweet treat, I am happy to help.
Aluna, your parents must have been fans of the moons and the lunar cycle to have such an uncommon and he gives you a look over and says Damyrian name. That is unique. Most people there base all of their learnings on the sun, but huh, that's all he kind of says, and he smiles and he says, "Well, as I have explained to your cousin, um, I'm up for just escorting tonight and just absorbing a little bit of what this city has to offer. And if we're headed somewhere for a sweet treat, then I may indulge myself."
You are quite perceptive. Yes, I do tend to have a connection with the moon, and that is a truth, both for Azara herself, and I think she's connecting with a little bit because I think she has always found a little bit in the comfort of the moon because she has vague memories tied to a darkened forest with people she once knew.
And it's the closest thing when you were young and being from Demir, the race you are, you still have a sensitivity to the sun that you can't overcome exactly.
Mhm.
But the moon is a nice change from that. You didn't have a sun or a moon when you were little. There was nothing like that you can remember. So when you first saw this, you were like, holy cow, what is this thing?
I
But the
don't,
moon is a nice alternative.
yeah, I don't think if we ever figured out whether or not she was actually from Demir, she was taken to Demir. But the original location of her, I don't think we ever decided.
Well, like I'm saying, you weren't born in Demir.
Yeah, yeah.
You were born
Um,
somewhere else, so yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, so she definitely has kind of that connection to the moon, and in this moment, she's definitely kind of resonating with that and having, I think, a little bit of comfort
hmm
of not having to be as much tied to the sun, which she isn't much like can't really tie to.
Right.
Um, so she is playing into that a bit. Um, so she is that is coming from a very true place for her.
Okay.
And then she's like, and I know Azara will have a bit of comfort as I tell her what discoveries I have tonight and what places she can discover on her own in later on.
He just gives another nod and he says, after you then.
Okay. And she begins definitely plays up a little bit like, I believe she said, but she actually knows where she's going. But she's like, yeah, she said to the left and turns to the left and begins to walk up towards the sky.
Okay, so just for the hell of it,
Mhm.
I want you to do me another. At this point, I'm going to call it a deception or performance. You've already created a character, you already know them in your head. I'm going to let you choose one or the other and just give me a basic roll. Let me know where you're at. You
For
need to stay above a 10 at this point.
well, I rolled an 18.
You're fine. Okay, so you're still doing a very good job of portraying this. This individual. That's interesting. Okay.
And I do think that she is different. If you know the family, you can make the connection of these people are related.
Mm-hmm.
But I think actually it's very subtly that you can tell they're related. Like you have to be told that because it's something where you have to be paying close attention to be picked out.
Mm-hmm.
Because she does want to be like, I'm hiding from this person, and then looks like exactly like somebody who's a part of them. So it's like that type of thing of like with the
Yeah,
appearance wise.
I get it. And it's also not a big enough change where it throws you either. I get exactly what you're doing. It's all good. Okay. So, for the
Freeze
fun of it,
frame. Got
right.
over to them now.
Colby, I need you to roll me a 1d20. 20 is really, really good. 1 is really, really bad.
7.
Okay. Not great. Keep that number in mind. Okay, for me, if you would. Okay? That is the trip that you have getting to Leah's. Bella. That is the trip. Always like to roll that 1d20 when people are going across town. And you got a 7. Okay. Better than a 1. But it's a little bit better than a 5. So, we'll take that into consideration. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk to our shroom tea drinking buddies that are up there at the Sanctuary of Wrath, and they're trying to learn how to fight their inner demons and whatever else comes their way. So, recap for you both, just briefly. You were going into this, and Jeremy, I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on it. Was this more of a test of yourselves to see if you can practice the new skills that you've learned, or was this more about seeing if you could find things out about Arsin?
I think it was more being open to learning a few things, but kind of like a self-exploration,
Mm-hmm.
kind of diving back into a little bit of the darkness that he tries to keep at a distance.
Because a lot of times when both of you go in and out of the Netherfall, it's by accident or just kind of happens upon you. It's something that you don't control so much. It's always there lurking around the corner and always shows itself at the wrong time. You always seem to tap into it or see things coming from it at the wrong moment. But this is a controlled, you're ready for it now thing that Tanima and Yakon Ru have been able to help you achieve. So remember, as long as this goes somewhat okay, I think you'll always have the ability to do this, which is smart. Okay? Now, did you already get your other feat figured out, Jeremy, and you have your stuff pretty much done?
Yeah, I think I've got everything pretty
Okay.
much.
And Colby feels pretty good about it, too. So let's go ahead and do this. And for some reason, that's not wanting to show up, and I don't know why. There it is. Hey, boom. Here's where you guys are. Okay. To remind you, you found yourselves kind of in this place, and it feels extraordinarily real to you. If maybe a little bit hazy, but mostly real to the both of you. And if you remember correctly, we said that there were trees outlying all around this section, and that you were able to see the eyes shining of what seemed to be some kind of woodland elf looking thing. Just for the hell of it, I wanted to do this for you guys. Roll me a history check, both of you, and let me know what you get individually, please.
21.
Nice.
Five.
5. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Rook, you've never seen these. But you know that when you've been on ships that have had to go over Thornwood, they talk about the elves, the Silveran elves, that refuse to leave that area. And when the ground and land became cursed, okay, the people there absorbed that evil along with the forest. Because used to, that place was called Dawnwood. And that was the home of the Silveran Elves. And just a minute, I'll tell you the exact name of it in just a second. It was called... Okay, got it. Just a minute, I'm looking here. If I can find it. Because I have like several different things open over here. Where is it? Don't know where it went. Oh well. It is called the, just a minute, the Monster Locker NPC. Just a second, guys. Maps. Where's it at? Oh, map all right. Here we go. Now I can zoom in. Let's move that over here. and it was called Aldenmyr. Aldenmyr. And it was the Silveran ruins of Aldenmyr. Okay? And that is the place that you would fly over. There's also a very long strip to the north of that is this boundary between those lands of the Silveran Elves and the capital of Altarion, which are the lands that you're currently in now, which is where New Gemdar is. And that barrier is called Hamelsbyre. It is a very long stretch that is, there's very few things that are visible from an airship from way up. Like they say, like the Great Wall of China is only visible from space, and one of the only things visible from space, right? Well, from airships, there's this long grouping of trees that lines the boundaries of Hamelsbyre. These larger than any other kind of trees you've ever seen, and those are visible from the airship. Okay, so you know that these things that are peering out of the wood line right now at you in Arsin look like the stories you've heard of these accursed Silveran elves that were left to absorb the darkness that was taking over their homeland. Okay? I'll give you and Arsin a moment to interact. As this is happening, one of these guys starts creeping out from the woodland, from the woods. And they do. They have like an olive color to their skin. Their eyes are glossed over. And for a moment when he winks at you, his eyes wink sideways like a crocodile's. And it looks somewhat predatory. As his mouth opens up, you can hear a sustained, an echoed, like almost clicks, kind of like The Grudge. And their body movements are very sharp and animated and twisted, and kind of like The Grudge.
I don't like it, Brian. I don't like it one bit.
Huh?
Not even a little. I don't like it.
Well, yeah. And that's what they are, and they're kind of looking at you guys like you're signs of life. Okay, so that's what you've got in front of you. I will give you and Arsin a moment to discuss this and talk about the bad tea that you've drank. And tell me, be out loud about it. What's going on, guys.
Arsin, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Please tell me you're not. This is just a figment of my imagination.
I see it.
I don't think we're going to wake up anytime soon.
If we did, we might be in a hell of a lot of pain.
Oh well.
Okay.
Cracks his knuckles.
Okay.
Fortunately,
So-
that's somewhere I've been before.
As you do that and you crack those knuckles, you hear also echoes come out from the other side of the woodland. As a few more of these things seem to step out of the darkness and head in your direction. Okay, let's say number 4, for instance, begins to step out. And then the next one. And then another. But this one seems a little bolder than the rest. And he steps down right here in front of you like this. Okay? With that, I need you guys to go ahead and roll initiative. As he seems to look at you guys, and he gets a little bit close, and you think he's going to say a word. This one's a male. And as the mouth opens, there's this moment of silence. You can't help but anticipate the words that are getting ready to leave the mouth of this thing. And as it does, its eyes bulge out and looks at you, and it just screams. Like the haunted soul of something from within it is in pain. It's screaming out as if there's something trapped inside of it. You can literally smell the breath of this damn thing as the scream bellows out past you guys. So I want you guys to roll initiative, and then we're going to see what happens after that, because there's another roll we need to make afterwards. Okay? 19. Good job. Colby, what'd you get?
What do we roll? What do we add if we want to do a spell?
Okay. So it would be your ability modifier that's tied to the kind of magic that you cast. So if it's the one class, it's charisma.
Okay. I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. So just a minute. Go ahead. What'd you get, bud?
That would be a 24.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, the one time I get a natural 20 is on initiative.
Right, but nothing wrong with that though, buddy.
It just makes me go. It just makes me go first.
Right, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and you got, what was it again? 19, did you say, Jeremy?
Yes.
19, okay. You got 24. Okay, let's roll for them. Bella, let's have some fun. Roll me a 1d20 and a 1d6. And we're going to do this 4 times, and I want you to tell me what you get each time.
Okay, so the first one is a 17 plus 4, so 21.
Holy shit, okay.
You said 4 times?
Yes, ma'am.
Easy.
Easy, Bella, he says, easy. Oh.
Yeah, don't screw us over.
Yeah, right.
I am not intending to. You know, my rolls normally suck, so if this is where all my luck goes, I'll be a little bit.
It is not just you. Don't do that to yourself.
Let's see. So the next one is a 15
I mean, you
plus
got
5.
you got 2 of us screwing up here with these characters.
20
Bella.
for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it going.
See.
Oh, Rook. Hope your armor holds up, buddy.
12.
12. There we go. We got one more.
3.
Holy shit, really? What'd you get, like a 2 and a 1?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, she's back, everyone. She's
There
back.
we go.
Here we
That
go.
makes more sense. Oh, and
Alright.
I know you've said before of like, you know, maybe we could put our own background music. And sometimes...
Absolutely. Yeah.
So currently, the background music I have for this is called Haunted Crypt, so it's thematic.
That's awesome. And you know, I did for a while, like I can play music to add to these, but when I'm taking this video and I'm doing it in post, sometimes that music bleeds over what I have to add in. So it's kind of touchy. It's tough for me to do. And a lot of times, for some reason, when I add my own music to these things, it's blaring loud for you guys, and I can't hear it at all. So I've messed with audio. I really have. I've worked on it quite a bit. I'm not good enough to do it right now. Back in the day, we used to a little bit, but it did bleed over, and it made for some tough editing. So by all means, put on your own music. Have fun with it, right? Enjoy the moment as you would. With that, Arsin, you will be going first, sir.
Right.
If I need to zoom out, you tell me what you want to know, what you want to see, and I will paint the picture, sir. You just gotta steer. You just gotta steer yourself.
Right. Arsin would like to go to the two elves above him, so they're in both within 10 feet of him. But
Okay, do you want to go right between them or right in front of this one here? Here,
we'll
I'll
go
show
in
you.
between.
You want to go in between? Okay.
We haven't had
I'm good with
once in Spyder fighting, have we?
Right there? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast Arms of Hadar.
Okay. Explain to us what that looks like and subtract the magic points from your character and tell me what you're doing with it.
All right, so it's a first level conjuration, and so basically, tendrils of dark energy will erupt from around me, and will basically batter those two elves, and they have to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. Okay, Bella. For the one on the left, roll me a 1d20 and a 1d4, and tell me what you get for number 2 here. Let me know if he gets. And for also, you need to roll what your DC is, Colby. Remember, we do that in this game.
You said a 1d20 and a 1d4?
Yep. Roll that for me.
7.
A 7 total. That's awesome. And then roll it again for number 4 over there.
3.
Man, I tell you what, I'm picking the right person to roll this shit for you all, Bella. You are the unsung hero of Jeremy being like last in initiative with a 19. It's a beautiful thing. I can't. I'm joking. There was a 12 and a 3. It looked bad for you to start though, friend. It really did. So, what was your DC, Colby?
13.
Whew, you didn't roll very good, did you?
Mm-mm.
That's your first time casting it, though. So, paint us a picture here of what this kind of looks like, Budgie. These dark tendrils are coming up. Is it a 10-foot radius, or is it, or what?
Yeah,
what's
10
the
foot,
area?
10-foot radius from me.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that catches both of them. It doesn't catch friends, does it?
If he's not in that circle, I hope not. It just says each creature in that area.
Well, you could
So
cast it in a way where if you put it, is it centered on your location, or you
Yeah,
cast
it says the range is 10-foot radius.
Well, if I were you, you have movement. I would move right here and do it.
All right.
Or right here. Like, so you were right here to begin with, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm just helping you with the mechanics, and after a while, I'm just going to hold you accountable because you guys are new to it, right? So, if you're wanting to catch, you could catch all 3 of these in a 10-foot radius, bud. You could go right here. And you got 5, 10, 5, 5, 10. That's all 3 of them right there, and that leaves Rook out of it. And Jeremy's like, zang. Right? That's the way to do it.
Actually, doing all 3 was my original idea, but I wasn't sure for sure if that third one was going to be in range or not.
But
You're all good.
Don't forget, a radius is only the short side of the circle.
I know.
You got to double the radius to get the whole thing.
And just for the hell of it, let me show you this, just to put it in perspective. So if I was going to do a shape right now, a 10-foot radius is 20 by 20. Okay? 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Bam. There's your circle. Now let's dim it down. Okay? And let's go ahead and move your shape around. If you're centering that on you, bam, you're catching them. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I like about doing this on my own shit. So yeah, so that works out real good.
Yeah. So we'll do it from there then. So
Okay.
we'll have to roll that third guy.
All right, okay. Bella, roll me another saving throw. The DC was what again, Colby?
13.
Okay, 1d20 and a 1d4. Tell me what you get, Bella.
5. 5.
A 5 total?
With the d20 being a natural 1.
Dude, that's great though. You're failing DCs for these guys. Fucking Bella for the win. Make no mistake. This is fantastic. Okay, so
Okay.
what's the damage? What's the effect? Tell me what they're going through here, bud. Roll some dice and tell me some shit.
They will take 2d6 necrotic damage.
I like it. Roll it up. Is there any bonuses to that? Just 2d6?
I also have my attack modifier, right?
Well, that goes to your attack roll. I don't think you have your attack modifier added to it, no.
That'll be a total of 5 then.
5 points of damage? And
Yeah.
what type of damage is that?
Necrotic.
5 types. Okay, necrotic damage helps me because that bypasses armor and shit like that. Okay, so when you do that, are they restrained or anything of that, or?
Yes, they cannot take any reactions until their next turn. Until its next turn.
But they can move and shit like that still.
All it says and can't if they fail to save, they take the 2d6 and can't take reactions until its next turn.
Okay, got it. 5 minus 1. Okay. That is your major action. You used 5 foot of movement. What else are you doing on your turn, sir?
So I used.
It doesn't have to be anything. I'm just saying, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'll do that one. And as he does that, I would say that would be it. And as he does that spell, Rook might actually see his secret armor appear while it happens, and he'll turn like his shadow parts would be like more vivid.
Okay. So, you see what seems to be the faint tracers and echo of what looks to be dark, nightmarish, like dark night kind of armor flash into existence around him for a minute as he commands these arms to come up from the ground and lash out and restrain and hold on to these creatures. Something that you didn't know that Arsin had in it. Okay. Do with that what you will, Jeremy. Okay. That is going to be the end of your turn. The next one is going to be the one that was over here that didn't get hit. Okay. Let's go ahead and decide how he's going to act.
How much magic points is a conjuration?
First level spell is 3.
All right.
Cantrip's 1. First level spell is 3. Second level is 5. And then there's a graph in the rules that I have that lays it out.
All right.
Okay. So, with a natural 20, number 1 here decides that he is going to, let's see. Goes number 1. 5. Let's go ahead and make the DC with the 20, and then it's going to be plus the 1. Okay. I need you, Rook, to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
$13.
Okay, with a 13 with an F. I love it, man. With a 13, you fail. From around the open mouth comes a swarm of what seem to be like different swamp-like insects and bugs and things. And as they come and they swarm out and they go around you, they bite and sting and swirl all around your body. You are going to...
No chance that's an evocation, is it?
Huh?
There's no chance that's an evocation spell.
It's a conjuration. It's a conjuration. Okay. Here's the way this works. I roll this, and this is how many d4s I roll to see how many bites there are. Ooh, shit.
Don't like this.
No.
Don't like it at all.
9 points of piercing damage. Okay. And now your armor would help with that. Okay, so this is the first time we're really going to talk about this, and this is why we're doing this. So let's go ahead and everyone kind of, this is a little bit of class on how this works. Okay, so this is the kind of spell where it hits all over you, but it's not like necrotic damage that can go through material objects and get into your radiant or things like that. Your armor covers a certain amount of your body, right? Okay, so there is an optional rule that I have written up in our rules where the more of your body that is covered with an armor, the less damage you take from things that hit the entirety of the area. Okay? Now this falls into that category. So do you have light, medium, or heavy armor, Jeremy?
I believe it's light for the protection of 6.
Okay. So the way I have it written down there is it's like a 25, 50, and 75. It's a very simple percentage. Okay? If you have light armor on, okay, you take 25% less, but your armor does take the damage fully. Okay? Which is how it would work. You almost have to imagine getting a sunburn on the beach. You know, if you got swimming trunks on, your whole back's getting red, your calves are getting red, but you're going to have a white ass when you walk out there. You know, but if you got your t-shirt on too, the shirt's going to get sun bleached, the shorts are sun bleached, the arms, you know. So that's where we're at. So with that, I want you to take that 9 points of damage and imagine taking 25% off of that. Always round down. D&D is always round down. Correct? When it comes to a benefit for you. So we're going to say probably 2 points of damage off. Okay? Now, but the full amount of that goes on to versus your armor points. Now, what's the breaking point of your armor?
That would be... Breaking point. Type is grade. 3 plus craftsmanship is 4.
Okay, so 4. So what happens is your armor would have taken 4 points of that. So take 4 points off your armor points.
Okay.
And then 5 is what would have got you. Okay? From that 5, we're reducing that 5 by 25%. So that's 1 off of that. So you're going to take 4 points of piercing damage. Okay? And your armor took the other.
Okay.
Okay? That's the way that's going to work. Okay, and your movement, because you failed that, is going to be halved on your next turn.
Okay.
Okay. Now, next person in turn. Let's go ahead and do this. It's going to be another one of those bad boys. That is going to be number 2. Over here that is restrained, cannot take reactions, but he can still move and do things of that nature. Let's decide what he's going to do here, and I know what he's doing now. He's going after Rook. He is going to... let's do something different. Not that move. Let's do another thing. He's going to go up and try to attack you now that you are covered in these bugs that are swarming all around you at the middle of the night here. So we're going to walk him up here like this. We're going to do 2 melee attacks. He seems to have what looks like a spear that used to have some kind of banner or Silveran markings that have all but rotted off the end of the spear. Like it had a long flag that would have held off the end of it, but it's just in tatters and shit, like an old piece of cloth that wraps around the thing. As he comes at you, and he's slashing back and forth with it at you. 11?
Nope.
Okay. And you have reactions. If you choose to use them, you can. If not, I'm going to continue.
No, not right now.
Okay. And for the next one, 16. Okay. And 16, he swings through at one point. You're able to dodge, and he swings a second time. And you're able to move out of the way of that one as well. Okay. Now, Jeremy, it is going to be your turn. It's going to be Rook's turn now.
Okay. So, well, I'm going to bonus action and bring my echo into the fray.
Okay.
That's
I like it.
First. And I am going to bring him. So within 15 feet. Can you zoom out a little bit?
Yes.
Let's see. And we've just got those 4 that we can see at the moment, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to manifest the echo
I just made your echo.
to the left side of the one northeast of me, northwest. To the left side.
Right here?
Nope, to the left side of the next one up. There you go.
Okay. Got it.
And
And was that a free action, a bonus action, or what did it take to do that, bud?
that is a bonus action.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. It requires her saving throw. Spirit of 6. I will revisit that.
What are you thinking about
I'm
doing?
going
Boss?
I'm going to make an attack against the one next to me.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay. You're in range to
Scimitar.
do that now because we say diagonal movement works in our games.
So that is going to be a 14 to hit.
A what?
14.
A 14 misses.
Okay.
Okay. And he would take a reaction on you, but he is not able to now because of being bound up by these tentacles. So you're very lucky. Good job, Colby.
Take it. All right. And I'm going to unleash unleash incarnation.
Okay. Turn your
Yeah,
mic up a little bit, boss. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. Go ahead.
I'm going to unleash incarnation and allow my echo to take an attack as well.
Okay. Go ahead and do your rolls and tell me what I need to know.
How's that? Is that any better?
Yes, a little bit.
Perfect. That's a little better. That's an 18 to hit.
An 18 hits, but it does not breach.
I'll take
And
that.
that is your echo hitting, or was that you?
That is my echo.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage. And is this, what kind of damage is this?
Slashing.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
4 points.
4 points. Okay, that just gets through his armor, but barely.
Right.
Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, got it. And you were able to find purchase on as it went through, and their stuff is decayed and it's not in the best shape. It's not been taken care of. And what's next for you?
I think that is going to be it for the moment.
Okay. With that, we're going to go ahead and say it is going to be number 3's turn. Okay. Number 3 is going to oh, nope, let's not do that. Let's do this. Just a minute. Sorry, guys. Enemies. Number 3. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's flanking. he pulls out what looks like some kind of voodoo doll shape of what looks like a spider, and he says some words over top of it and crushes it together with his hands, and when he does, a web explodes out around him in a certain area. I need you to roll me a dexterity, a strength saving throw, Rook.
Thank God I'm good at that. It's a nat 20. 24.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so listen. You passed by 1. He rolled a nat 19 on his DC for this. So your high roll saved your ass. I thought for sure it's going to get you. But that's awesome. So as the web spreads out and everything like that, you don't take damage, nor are you restrained from it, but it does cause difficult terrain on the ground and around you and stuff like that. Okay? So, in that difficult terrain, we're going to say, and this is going to be from number 3, let's get another shape up here. Let's make this a purplish, dark purplish color. And let's go ahead and make that for a 10-foot radius as well. Just a minute. 15, 20, 15, 20. About right there. Bam. Let's go like this with it. And it's going to be in Murk Elf number 3's inventory. The shape. And it's going to be centered on you, sir. And that's going to make that difficult terrain. But you are not restrained within it. Okay? Alright, now we got one more guy supposed to go on their turn. It's going to be number 4. Number 4 is over here. He is just going to make basic attacks against Arsin. He seems to have 2 daggers that seem to be made of the rib bones of some kind of swamp-like, forest-like creature. And this guy here, he seems to have a wilder look in his eye. As you notice, the trees around this place seem to have long thorns and decrepitness growing from them, and he seems to have armed himself with those, almost like some kind of berserker or something. He is going to swing at you. Oh shit, 26?
It hits, but does not breach.
Oh no, I'm sorry, he's swinging at Arsin.
Oh.
Because this is number 4 going now.
Primary, right? So
Yeah, it's your armor class.
22 primary, 30 breach. So I would say no for the breach.
Okay, but it pierced past your primary. Okay, so now this is going versus your armor points. Okay, so it is.
Are we saying hide or the dark knight armor? Because
I would say the hide right now because you don't have that on. You know, this is your lesser kind. Okay. So this is it's going to be 6 points of slashing damage. So does that beat your armor points or your breaking point of your hide and stuff that you're wearing?
Yes, by 2.
Okay. So your armor points would take the full damage, and then you would take what's left over from it. Okay.
Right.
Since he rolled what he rolled, he's going to get an automatic second attack with advantage because he rolled a natural 20 when he rolled that. Okay. 14.
Would I take the 4 from the total or base?
You would take
14 does not break the primary. Does not go past primary.
No, if it didn't, then that means you would have either dodged it or blocked it. So
No.
the second hit does not work.
Yeah, so for the first hit, do I take off the 4 points from the base or the total?
all the total armor points.
Or
Yep, because that is them averaged up to a number that can be taken from easily. Yes.
Right.
Okay. And then he gets one more. That's a 20, dirty 20. What's your armor class primary?
22.
Okay, so no, that missed you. Okay, so once again, swings, and you're either able to block or dodge his advances with that those bone daggers, and he was only able to hit you that one time. Now, let's go ahead and go to the top of the round. I'm going to give you a second to react to your arson. This guy just came at you with a flurry, swung 3 times. One of them hit you pretty hard. So in that moment, what are you doing to retaliate here, bud?
I can't use any of my grappling things for reaction to that, right?
Not unless it's specifically written in there that you could, no. If you had a feat that let you do that, I mean, if you could use one of your unarmed strikes, and if you want to do a grab with it as a reaction, I don't have any problem with that. It's just then you got to think about what you want to do afterwards, you know?
Mm-hmm. Never mind. Next, I'm not seeing a thing for that.
Okay. What are you thinking here? This guy's getting ready to come at you again unless you make a decision.
You do. Wait. No, we won't do that. See, because like I was thinking about using the joint lock or just slash disable for that for a
Okay.
reaction, but it's not saying that I can like for a reaction.
Well,
So
usually
I don't know.
you can do basic attacks and things like as reactions. There's a feat that lets you actually, if you read through those, that will let you do more precise and move-oriented stuff as reactions. But it's a feat where you have to learn that process.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a cool idea to go through and at least map out the next 3 or 4 feats you want to try to learn, so you get an idea of the character you want to be and the shit you want to be able to pull off. Jeremy, roll me a 1d20.
I think
15 or higher, and he gets
Yeah.
attacked.
none of my stuff like seem to be reaction, so I think I'll just like back away, I guess.
Okay,
That
it's your turn.
Oh, okay. So then,
It's top initiative round. It's your turn, bud.
I was still in the mindset that I was reacting to it, not actually like on my turn.
Nope.
Okay, that actually helps me out then.
Okay. By the way, what we're going to do is we're going to put timers. So when I start having Jeremy roll 15 or higher, you get a hit. He gets a swing at you while you're standing there. Then a few more minutes go by, and then it's a 10 or higher, then a 5 or higher, and then it just gets worse and worse. So go ahead, man.
How far away is the one that his echo is attacked?
20 foot. You move 20 foot, and he'd be within attack range of you. So he's exactly within range at 20. His spot is 25 foot away, exactly.
All right. So if I do a leaping or spinning strike, will I be able to do it from there or
Well, if you do a
from where I'm
spinning,
at now?
okay. So if you're to do a spinning strike, here's how this works: advanced martial arts. Okay, that takes 10 foot off your movement, right, to do a spinning strike, right?
Mhm.
And you can move how many feet on your turn? 35?
This 40.
40. Okay. So if you were to move over here, my friend, and this is why we're doing this, okay? So if you were to move over there, wrong guy. No, that's you. Okay, so if you were to go, if you go 5 foot of movement here, he's going to attack of opportunity because you're moving out of his range. Okay? Then you've got 10. Then you've got 15. Then when you're there close, you're using 10 foot of movement, which puts you at 25, and it gets you to roll the check that it says there. And then it gives you an extra damage die on your thing as you're doing a spinning martial arts attack. Yeah, if you're doing a leaping, you can use that to go at them from a distance. But a spinning has to be by them.
Alright, then I think I would do leaping.
Okay, where do you want to leap from?
I would say from there, if I can get this, if I can pass this DC, because every additional 10 feet is in, it's another damage dice.
Okay, and what's your leaping distance?
The minimum is 10 feet on here. I don't know what my actual one is.
Okay, so if you were going to do that, you would at least need to move 5 foot to get closer to him.
Alright.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do that, attack of opportunity. Bella, roll me a 1d20. Tell me what you get.
19.
Yeah. 25. Does that hit you?
Beats primary, yeah.
Okay, but doesn't hit your breach?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this will be off your damage. Okay. So this is going to be 5 points of slashing damage. So if that breaks past your armor class, or that breaks past your breaking point, you take that off, and then the rest goes through and hits your body past the breaking point of your armor or your scales. Make sense?
Mm.
Okay.
I took 1 damage off that.
Right. Okay, now what? You're here, now you're jumping 10 foot, right? Go ahead and roll your check. Tell me what you get.
Right. Aerobatics, so I am proficient in that.
You know what your DC is?
Yeah, so it was 10 plus the proficiency bonus of the target.
Okay, so it's 13.
Alright. Next. That'll be, the total will be 20.
Great job. So with that, he steps his 5 foot. You see Arsin plant his feet into the air and mightily jump himself up. And he's doing a leaping strike of 10 foot. What does the attack look like as you come down? Are you using your feet, your elbows, your fists? What do you got going on? Yeah, dropping the atomic elbow.
People's elbow.
No, just a headbutt. Just come in going, ha! Just headbutt him, yeah.
I'm trying to think of that movie. Like, it was whatever the movie title is, where basically they're basically boxing with like giant robots.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And at the end, where like during like the championship battle, he like leaves and like punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
Something like that, I guess, is what I'm trying to go for.
Okay. Well, you did that, so roll your attack and you get double your dice.
Alright, so yeah, so that's damage. So I just gotta roll my normal attack.
And I think, are you at 1d4s or 1d6s right now?
My martial arts is a 1d4 right now.
Okay. So you're going to roll 2d4 plus your bonuses.
I was also rolling the d20 for the attack, right? To see
Yep.
if it. Alright, yeah, then that one would be that one would be a 22.
That breaches. So this is straight damage to him.
Alright, so Was that within 20 feet? So, or is that just in between 10 and 20?
What's that? What are you talking about?
Was the total distance where I jumped 20 feet? So I do get 2, or was it just
10 foot.
okay? So it's just 1.
Yes, he had a 1d4 to it. Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna be 4 plus 4, total of 8.
Okay, awesome.
Well, and then damage normally would also be 13.
Okay, that's
yeah.
awesome. So you have a +5?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. 13 points of damage. Dude, that hurt him. He's looking rough as you came down, jumped up and come at him with that punch, dude, and landed. That is, you've used 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet of movement, and you used 1 attack so far. What are you doing now?
Okay, so I'm allowed another one because this is my round where I have 2.
Right,
Because I'm at 3-2.
which is smart.
So
That's smart to do like the other stuff your first round and then use your double attacks on your monk round. That's clever to do it that way. Keep that in mind.
yeah, so I haven't killed it, so that doesn't work yet.
Jeremy,
Alright.
be thinking about what you're going to be doing on your turn up, okay? We'll do your turn, and then we'll go ahead and get over to then we'll get over to Bella once we get another round behind us, okay? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Aura of Despair.
Okay, and then what does it take to enact an Aura of Despair? Because you're already attacking.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a bonus action, I get that. But you're already in the middle of taking an attack action.
Yeah.
So if it takes an action to do that, then you wouldn't be able to, right?
Okay, then yeah, so I can't do that because it's an action.
Correct.
So that doesn't work. Yeah, so I think I'll just slash at him with my sword then.
Okay, so you're drawing out the sword. Now, is this the real sword, or is this like the phantasmal version of the blade?
Well, would we say that like all the black armor disappeared after because the tentacle thing was like a 1-turn thing because it said it was instantaneous duration.
Right. So the armor's going. It was a flash of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would just be the normal one and not the phantasmal.
Okay, go ahead.
That would be total of
Roll with
10.
advantage because you're flanking him.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank
Kind of
you.
asked that shit.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Okay. What'd you end
Yeah,
up
so
getting?
the attack roll would be 21.
That hits and breaches this creature.
Right. So it is 1d6 plus 5. Total of 7.
Wow. Okay. He's looking rough, man. Okay, and that was a sword attack with him. That old big sword you've got on you.
Yeah, the short sword is what it's listed as right now.
Oh, okay. All right. And what else do you have to do on your turn? Is that it, or are you going to use your bonus action to do some crazy shit, or can you do that yet? I don't know if you can.
Let's see. I don't think I can.
Okay.
Yet.
So that'll be the end of your turn.
Yep.
Okay. Good turn. Okay. With that, it's going to be number 1, which is him. He has that guy there. He has that guy here. He has the swarm being controlled. he is going to move the swarm over towards you. Okay, now what's crazy is he can only move it so far, and you both will be starting your turn. So at the beginning of your next turn, Jeremy, you'll still be starting in that area, and it'll be another saving throw. Okay, so let's go ahead and go enemies. This is number 1, and I believe he's the one that had the swarm on him, wasn't he? Oh my God, where'd it go? Was it number 1 that did it, or was it another one? I think it was another one that did it. Number 1 didn't cast the swarm. It was number 3.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 1 did.
So, he is going to... Let's do some attacks. Okay, here we go. 25 against Rook. Against the Echo.
Against the Echo?
Yes. Okay. And the damage is going to be 6.
Anything greater than 1, it's poof.
Okay. Okay. Well, did we say it had to be magical?
Yes. I'd assumed it was. If it's not. I'm good
Well,
with
with what he's doing, it's not.
that. I'll take
It has poison, which isn't magical. So as he swipes through it, he realizes that that doesn't do anything to it. So that's one attack right there where he's at. Okay? With that, he's going to use a feat, and he's going to do a hit with disadvantage, but it's going to do a 5-foot circle around him. And let me see how I perform
Could
this.
I use a reaction from my Echo space?
Yes.
I am going to use my fighter superiority,
Okay, that's interesting.
and it is the riposte. When a creature misses you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to expend 1 superiority die to make a melee attack against the creature. If you hit, you add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll.
Fuck yeah, swing, sir. I like it.
That's a 19.
The 19 hits, but it doesn't breach, but you did make contact, so there you go.
Cool.
Roll your damage for me, let me know what you get.
It is 7 plus 2. 9 points.
Paint me a picture. That one was looking really, really rough after all the shit it's been through. What's it look like as this happens?
As it goes to swing through him, it almost, as that attack, it kind of goes through and it loses its balance for a second, just in time for the Echo to bring the scimitar back up from the other side.
Oh, nice.
Pretty well gut it.
Okay, as you do, the creature, when it dies, as it falls, and the blood is even tainted on these creatures, Jeremy. It is a dark color with a green film to it. It almost looks like swamp water in a kind of way. And as it does that, for just that moment as it falls, I need you to roll me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Justin.
You would see just the faintest bit of a soul that has been darkened, staying through time inside of this being, but the soul leaving it would look like the Silveran elf it used to be. And as you've slain it, you see it reaching out and pushing itself out, almost like it's fighting to be free of this tomb in which it's been. As its hands come up and it pushes itself out and doesn't even really pay attention to you. It looks up towards the sky and reaches up as it fades into nothing. There was a minute where its soul was stuck in that Netherfall, but it seems to have moved on to some other realm that you can't trace it to. Okay? And with that, the creature fades. Good job, my friend. What are you doing now? Oh, nothing, because it was your reaction. So fuck yeah. Okay. So now that one's turn. He's gone. Let's go ahead and now it is your turn, Rook. What are the both of you doing, sir? And then after this, we're going to move on to what Azara is up to.
All right.
Colby, get your D20 ready.
Ain't me. Let's see here.
No pressure. No pressure. No. There's just a million options. It's not like it's hard to pick or anything. I mean, shit.
60 foot.
Yeah, especially when you do multi-class.
Uh-huh. Yeah, a secret multi-class, no less, Colby. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Jeremy, so help me God, if you put your face more off the screen than that, my editing is going to be a nightmare. You're literally like, you're like this, buddy. Give me a break.
Well, I'm looking at the map, and I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to angle to the side. I'm trying to look at it because I'm trying to determine whether a 60-foot cone would work or not.
I will move this for you, but buddy, this is interactive. You understand?
You know how when you're playing a
say
video
things.
game and you move around the corner with your character?
Yes, I know. I know what you're saying. Yes.
So,
Shit.
Or you scream ow as soon as your character gets hit.
yeah.
I get you, man. I get you.
I'm just going to have to take it because I'm going to take an opportunity to attack from one up, regardless of how I do it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I want to swing around to the left side of the one below me.
You, Rook, would like to swing around to the left side of the one below you.
Yes.
Right here. Okay. Roll me a dexterity saving throw at the beginning of your turn because you started in a swarm. Let me know what you get.
Okay.
You started it with a buzz.
Not bad. That's 16.
Okay, just a minute. I'm trying to remember what the DC. Oh, no, the DC was super high on it, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So last
Yeah.
time I got like 13.
No, so you're going to take some stuff here. Now remember, your armor covers 25% of your body, but takes full of this. Okay?
Yep.
So, you're going to take, I got it figured out. I roll 1d6, and whatever that is, that's how many d4s you take. That's how this spell works. Okay, that's not bad. And I rolled a 2, so 6 points of piercing damage from biting and munching insects. So, what is the breaking point of your armor again?
I believe we said it was 4.
4, okay. So it would take 4 points of the damage. 2 would get through, and it doesn't round down enough. 25% is not going to make an impact on 2, so you just take 2.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yeah, so the armor takes the full 4. I only take the 2.
Correct. Yeah, because it's taking the blunt of it. That's what it's there for. Okay, and now go ahead and take your turn. You moved to the left side of him. What is it you're thinking about doing here? You were talking about a cone? Like, what kind of cone shit do you have?
A 60-foot cone.
Fuck. What?
I'd like to maneuver in such a way that I do not include arson.
Okay. A 60-foot cone starts out at 5 foot and gets to be how big at the end?
So, well,
Help me help you.
60-foot cone.
Yes?
So,
Because we can make it happen here, sir. I got shapes for days. You just gotta tell
no,
me,
it
like,
doesn't specify how far out the cone goes. So, is it 60 foot out and then just 5 foot increments as it goes?
I thought so.
60 feet?
I thought so. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Because that is fucking enormous. Okay? So pick a color based on your spell. What are you casting? What's the name of the spell?
Desperate Whale.
Oh, fuck yes, you are. Okay. Let's make that... I mean, all the cool dark colors are done. Let's make this a gray. Okay, let's make this a gray. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a triangle shape here. Okay, holy shit, 60 foot. Okay, so 5, 10,
Is it 30-foot radius circle or 60-foot count?
30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay, now we got to go down. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Just a minute, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay. So here's our cone. Let's make it a little bit more transparent. Let's do some things where we can rotate the cone. Oh dear God. What have you done, Jeremy? What have I created? What have I created? You're looking at something like that, buddy. From where you're at, this is roughly what we're talking about.
Okay, cool. So I can do it without hitting horse.
Sure. I mean, I don't see why not. So tell everyone what this looks like, because I love this shit. We wrote this up, and this makes me really, really fucking happy.
All right.
By the way, Bella, you are perfectly fine if you want to go all the way to the right side of the screen. See, we'll not be using that. No, it's okay, though. See, you are in the free realm where she can pull that shit. Go ahead, Jeremy. Talk to us about what this looks like.
I need wisdom saving throws from all three.
What's DC, jerk?
Let's see here. Yeah, we didn't talk about DC. We just put down that it needed to be a saving throw.
Well, it's your DC is what your spellcasting ability would be for a DC normal spell.
Well, as a fighter, I don't have a spell DC yet.
Do you have a ability thing that you use for anything of that nature in your class? I'm going to have to say charisma if you got nothing else.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so it's 1d20 plus your charisma bonus. Plus your proficiency bonus, I think, for a DC.
Okay, so that is the 12 plus 3, which is 15 plus 2, 17.
17, okay. Rolling them right now, I'll let you know. Number 3, got a 10 that fails. Number 2, got a 13, that fails. And number 4 back there, got a 21, it passes. So the two closest ones, which makes sense, they got the full balls speaker experience, and then the one there in the back did not. So tell me what this effect has and explain it to people.
All right. So, for a little flavor, at this point, as of that last attack, Rook was blooded 50%.
Rook was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's mostly just on one part.
Right on.
With that, he realizes, like, all right, this needs to be done. So as he swings around to the side, and Arsin, you probably see him as he kind of kneels over and he digs in deep to everything inside of him, and he lets out a banshee scream that lashes out and envelops everything in front of him.
Okay. This is something that he can do when he's bloodied as a special ability because of his race, which is fucking just delightful for me. Go ahead and tell us what the effects are on the ones that fail.
Creatures must make a wisdom saving throw. On a fail, they must immediately use their reaction to move as far as their movement will allow them and take 2d6 psychic sonic damage.
Okay.
Taking half as much damage on a save and not running.
Okay. That's fucking awesome. Roll your 2d6, man.
Also, I forgot how I read how a cone works.
And is it 60 foot long and however wide it gets, or what does it do?
Yeah, so the max. So it says a cone's width at a given point along its length is equal to that point's distance from the point of origin. So if it's 5 feet from the origin, the width's going to be 5 foot, and so on all the way to 60 foot.
Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah. So this is like, oh, this is good. Yeah. So go ahead, roll your 2d6 for me and tell me what you get.
2d6, 10 points.
Number 2 and number 3 take 10 points. Holy shit. One in the back there takes 5. But these two have to use the reaction to move immediately as far away from you as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that
2d6
shit.
Psychic sonic damage, so whichever.
Okay. What I kind of envision is it's 1d6 of each.
I can live with that.
Right. So let's go ahead and move them. Enemies, number 2. Murk Elf, number 2. Oh, hey, let's not move the whole screen. How about just the one guy? How about that shit? 5, 10, 15. And he disappears into the brush behind. Number 3. 5, 10. Oh, he's got that. That's the one that had the swarm. That's the one that cast the swarm. But that would dissipate because he would lose concentration on that because of this, wouldn't he?
I'd say
Okay.
so.
Yeah. So
And
let's
it
go.
doesn't. No, wait, it's not stating that it makes him fear, but they
Yeah,
do
he's-
have a moment of oh shit.
Yeah. I'm going to have him roll a check of disadvantage on that to see if he's able to keep the swarm active. No, natural 2.
Did I also swing an opportunity attack at him just because he's moving away?
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking do that,
Technically
sir.
not pushing him away. He is moving away of his own volition.
Dude, I hate that. I don't like that rule. If I push someone away, if someone gets pushed away beside me and I don't get an opportunity attack against them, that is wrong. He disappears into the brush. Go ahead and swing once at him on his way out. Give him a little slap on the ass like a third base coach. Hey, round the bases, Bobby! Round the bases.
It's a 17.
A 17 hits, but it does not breach the buttocks. So go ahead and do your thing. What'd you get?
It's 7 points.
7
Slashing.
points. And that was number... Which number was that guy again? That was number 3? I'm there. Okay. Number 3. Good lord. He's looking hurt. Well, he doesn't look like
I'll
anything.
be
He looks like
amazed
he's-
if they
What's
did
that,
they take
buddy?
any damage. What's the chances that they did not hit a tree on the way back?
I mean, pretty good. Right? So there's that for you, sir. And this guy does not run to show his colors. What else you doing on your turn, boss?
Let's see. There's a bonus action. Do an opportunity attack.
I'm gonna shoot your singing down now. I'm gonna do a cool graphic for that. I can do a cone of what looks like wailing spirits and music notes.
But we
That I'm
didn't
gonna do where I
specify
can-
whether that was a reaction or an action to do that. So I'm gonna say that's full action.
The Banshee Wail, if it's because your hit points drop below 50, that's a, well, but
Well, that was just my personal flavor, but
that's cool. I don't know. We'll do an action for now because that's a pretty big thing to pull off.
there's an action, bonus action, reaction is taken care of. That's it.
And then never one.
Okay. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a 10 or 15 minute break. And then when we come back, let me save this map. Save. Nice. Now it's frozen in time. We'll have it forever. And then when we come back, we will take up and see how Azara and Finn's journey to Leah's rare and exquisite cuisine is going up in the top of Skywatch. Sound good? All right, we'll see you all here in just a little bit. Holy cow, I think I did it. 2 buttons at once. I like it, man. So, we're back. We've been talking about all kinds of fun stuff. But besides that, let's get back into the moment. So, the boys have got to play for a little bit, but now it's time for Azara to venture northward and go to the restaurant that she was politely invited to up in Skywatch. So we rolled a 7. 7's not good. Let's just say it right now. 7 sucks. And a 7's what you have to deal with on your way up there. So I have to figure out the form and the nature of the 7. And I think I've got some. Sorry. So, Ewan?
Why are you saying sorry, Brian? I'm the one that rolled it.
Yeah, but I just kind of threw you into it. And I like letting you guys roll for doing other shit as we go through this and stuff. So it's fun. Yeah.
I think these dice go well with any of my characters because like other one they roll perfectly. This one they just won't, just don't want to do it.
I get it. I get it. Keep 'em on you. We always need those dice on certain days. Yeah. Uh, so like I say, it's starting to get later now. Let's just go ahead and say that you've committed to going up to finally is, and you have an understanding of where it is. I don't know if you actually saw the building itself. You just met the woman, and she kind of described to you where it was, loosely based off of Whoopi Goldberg's character, and she seemed to be somewhat like an older woman that had all kinds of gadgets and a cart that had all kinds of different supplies and different kinds of sea creatures and avian creatures and things that didn't look like anything you'd seen, right? And she was describing to you what this place was like, is to come up there and have some of the best food made. Um, so you have a pretty good idea, but not an exact idea of where it is. Okay. So as you're going through the town, there would be several different places that definitely would still be open and things of that nature. You would look back with fondness over the endless satire, and you would hear the boisterous and loud voice based on Robin Williams' character of Quill, the satire, bellowing from the inside and chanting things out and saying muffled words, and the crowd laughing and it coming through the windows. And there, once in a while, a person will walk out the door, and you'll hear the loud shock of laughter as you're going through. There's no snow, but there's wind. As the temperature begins to drop quite a bit, you're getting into the mid to lower 30s now. Okay? And there is all kinds of snow blowing off the rooftops, almost looking like white and silver glitter. It just blows through a clear, snowless night, other than that, and the moon shining brightly through, much like the picture behind me. Okay? So, as you're traversing up and down the different pieces of steps that take you from different platforms of this lower level, you know you're making your way towards Skywell. It's going to be a climb, as it always is. And the thing is, during the day, people try to put as much entertainment in there in shops and utility to make it not as painful, but it is still a climb, as there are no elevators in Ulran, as it were. And as you're headed that direction, you see two guards that stand in front of the large archway that leads into the bottom of Skywell. They are dressed as all the guards are here. They are in the black and gold armor that is very aerodynamically shaped, and the helmets that look like the falcon or hawk heads that are silvered with the silver wings off the side. They have the banners, almost like the county fair winner, like those kind of things that wrap across the chest of like pageant winners and shit. But these are banners of the actual city that show the golden imagery of like a falcon hawk like bird that wrap around them for symbolism. And as we are heading that direction, you would hear a chuckle come out of the darkness of the corner of an establishment from a darkened like alley that would be somewhat beside this place. And as that happens, you see Finn kind of turn his head and look in that direction. And as he does, a person steps out, and you recognize him immediately, and it is the Spyder. Okay? And he steps out with kind of a half grin on his face, and he's kind of shaking his head and smiling, and he's twisting a coin in between his fingers around us kind of playfully. Roll a perception check for me, Azara.
Perception. 16.
16. That's good enough. I'll let you do that with a 15 or higher. It may be a little bit of a stretch, but I like it for this moment, so I'll go ahead and go with it, okay? But you have earned it. As he does, he's flipping it around, and he looks up and he catches and he looks you in the eye. And something about the face of this in particular person has softened, not to a comfortable degree, but not to give you the same alarm that you had before when you saw him. There is a more human look coming from this halfling-like character that's dressed very fancy in darker grays, blacks, and browns, but dressed elegantly. You know, almost like a noble rogue, if there were such a thing, right? And he looks at you and he says, "Does that look familiar?" And he flips the coin towards you. Just roll a basic dexterity check if you choose to catch it or move out of the way. What would you choose to do as he flips the coin towards you? What's your immediate reaction? I know, in D&D it's like, it's never that simple. Right? Don't flip your damn coins at me, DM. I understand. Sometimes it is. So you have to decide.
I think she's not gonna catch it. I
Okay.
think she's kind of like more kind of cautiously kind of standing off than anything else, but she's not actually engaging with him.
Okay. As the coin comes flying in your direction, and as you show that look upon this young version of yourself's face as you step back for a moment, all of a sudden, that's awesome. Good job. Good job, Mr. McGuffey. Finn steps in, reading your body language, steps in and snatches the coin right out of the air before it becomes close to where you were actually standing. And he steps in. He goes, and the Spyder, this person says, "Making friends quickly in the city. I should have expected that." The guards go to step forward, and oddly enough, this halfling looks at them and says, "Take 5, boys. We need to have a little bit of a talk." When he does that, Finn's looking back and forth as he stays the coins. The guards actually listen to him. Okay? The one grumbles and gives him a long look, as it's the older of the two guards. Both seem to be human men. And he just kind of looks and he's kind of smiling his head. And he's kind of nodding at him like, "Yeah, that's right. Keep walking." You know, there's this little bit of pettiness between the two. And as he walks away, he just kind of shrugs his shoulder and looks a little bit just disgusted with the law enforcement in the city. And he looks back to Finn that has caught the coin that was meant for you. Fantastic, Mr. McGuffey. My God, buddy. Finn looks at the coin and holds it up and looks back to you, and he looks over at him and goes, "This is Damyrian. So you know where her family's from. But why do this?" And Finn flips the coin back to this character. As he does that, the halfling steps back, swipes it out of the air and smiles and slips it down into a pocket and has his arm on a cane standing in front of him in seconds. Like super slick. Like as someone that does acrobatics and puts on theatrics and things of that nature, there is more to this little man than meets the eye, and he is showing his cards. Okay? And as he says, "But it's not where she's from that concerns me so much. I'm just glad we were able to get our first clue. into the true owner of this coin. He takes a step forward. And he looks at you and he goes, "We've not been properly introduced. And it's something I try not to do during the daytime so much. I hope you can understand that. All of us have our secrets insides of us that we don't want to show other people. You understand, right?" And he looks at you for a minute and goes, Oh, he doesn't know. Very clever. If you would do me the honor, and what is the name? What is your name currently? And it seems like he's on to you. He's throwing big cards at you, but he's vague enough where Phineas isn't getting what he's throwing down. Do you tell him your character's name?
No.
Okay. As he says it, he goes, "That's fine. It really doesn't matter anyway." He goes, "This coin, this Damyrian coin, is one of many that have been spent by a particular person. And when people spend money, especially it being foreign, in this city looking for people and using less than above the, less than perfect means of finding those people, the Spyder gets involved. There have been people looking for your family, young lady, for years. And they have deep pockets." And he goes, "Maybe I had something to do with telling the guard to keep an eye on you all." He goes, "Maybe I have connections to where I could keep you safe, because although I enjoy making my coin and no one in this place is perfect, there's something about the owners of these coins that bother us, and they push our boundaries a little further than I like. So at this point, if you would choose to, you could consider this help from me and a warning. Take it for what it is, name or not. There are people with deep pockets spending Damyrian coin wanting to know where you're at. And it goes nowhere but downhill from there. Do you have anything to say at this moment? Okay. He gives you a long look for just a minute. He goes, "I hate that. I hate when I tell them stuff and they don't even know it's coming. And it always sounds like it's me. It's always my fault. I'm always the deliverer of the bad news. It's like I'm the one paying for your all's heads and the things that you guys might be holding on you in secret. But you need to understand it's not. I've made money worse ways, that's true. But not this way." He looks over at Finn. He says, "So I assume that you're escorting her and, well, her family around the city?" And Finn just kind of looks up, and he looks over at you before he answers the Spyder, and he looks over at you, and Finn says, "Do you want me to reply to him, or do you want me to act?" And Finn is like a spring that's getting ready to uncoil. He is very calmly asking you in no lesser words, are we going to play this game of talking back and forth, or do you need him to start flashing blades so we can get out of here? What are you saying, Azara? It's not tense at all, is it? No, no. It's just D&D. It's just a stupid little game. Yeah.
I'm literally playing a Spotify D&D tension playlist, by the way, underscoring
That's the way to do it.
everything you're saying. She's not gonna physically say anything. There are no words. She is trying to limiting as much information as she's giving out as humanly possible. But with the indication of like, do you want me to start fighting? She's gonna like do a small shake of her head, no, indicating of like, no, we're not pulling out blades right now.
Okay. He has a nod, like you hear him go, Good decision. And that comes from the Spyder. And he looks at Finn. He goes, I hope for your sake you don't have to earn your keep. Just a precautionary word. I respect you. I do. I respect your family's commitment to keeping you innocent. I can see it when I look at you. I know you're not involved in the things they may be involved in. I can tell from the way you're acting. That's what I came to see. That's what I wanted to look at when I first met you. Above. That's what I'm seeing now. So let's help each other keep it that way. I've got some threads that I'm pulling on currently. But you need to tell your family to keep their head down and to be careful while they're here until we get this figured out. Because you showing up here made the shark's fin surface the water. But we still don't know where the next one's coming from. We don't know how many there are. You understand what I'm saying? He's looking at you now. Bella.
That's the thing, like, she does and doesn't at the same time.
Right, and that's good though. That's good. That's a good thing in a way.
Yeah.
And your
I
ignorance is telling him more and more. The less you know about what he's saying, I think, no metagaming, but maybe that's better, right?
Yeah, I think she's just watching him more than anything. Like, she's not gonna shake her head yes or no, because neither would be a correct or truthful answer.
Okay. When we find the person that brought these coins to us, searching for your family, it will be more benefit to me than turning you over to them. So although it not being the most innocent of situations, it is ideal for you. He turns to walk back away, and Finn says, do you make a habit of coming out of the darkness and giving people unrest and unsettle? Is that how your politics are played in this city? That chuckle kind of echoes as he steps back into the darkness of the alley again. He goes, it's the contrary to that, Lunesti. I'm trying to make sure no one plays games. I'm just putting the pieces in place, so if a game is played, we win. Y'all have a good night and be careful, and I mean that. And he slips back down the alley and just kind of walks off, and you can hear the tapping of his cane as he makes his way down along the sides and between buildings, going down from Skywatch. Okay? With that, Finn looks over to you and you can see him exhale a little bit. Right? And you can see he put some components away. He looks like he had a spell ready in his hands and was getting ready to use it if it was needed. But he didn't. And he just kind of looks at you for a minute and he says, Azara's had a long day. You can choose to tell her of this occurrence in your own fashion. But I do suggest that she find out about it one way or another. Would you agree?
So, internally, kind of in a reaction to this, like, I think her posture has maybe sort of crumpled in on itself a little bit.
Okay.
And there's definitely a part of her that wants to trust him so bad with actual her. But kind
I
of
get
that fear. Yeah, like that fear is still there where it's like I don't know you, and this kind of like there is still kind of that fear, because I think there's a part of her in this moment that all she kind of really wants to do is kind of like pop off the mask and be her and just like cry and have comfort as her, but she knows she can't.
I get it.
So I think she's, still kind of crumpled in on herself, and she kind of just sort of numbly nods a little bit.
He looks at you and he kind of winces with a little bit of understanding. Let's go get some food. Maybe treat ourselves in the process. Agreed? It's far too fine a night to worry about the empty threats and warnings of a halfling that's preying on our unique situation. And you guys make your way into Skywatch and into Skywell and begin to make your way up to Skywatch. As you're going through, it's amazing the transformation of this place. It's almost like if you were to go through at the end of Mardi Gras, when the cops have told everyone it's time to get off the streets and go to bed. And when you go through and there's the remnants of things left over and banners are taken down, there may be some people that are passed out laying in the corner, but nothing here looks like reckless abandon. Like, it's not like there's homeless people that have potato sacks thrown on top of them and stuff in like broken glass and debauchery and shit. But there's just been a good time had in a very, very busy place. This is almost more like a big fair that has just shut down, and there's still the remnants of booths that are left. There's different flyers and pamphlets for all the different airship contracts that were signed and lost and blown off the wind. There's coins laying around in different places where there were dancers. You saw it yourself. You know what I mean, on your way down. This place, it's amazing how quick it just emptied out. And as you're headed up, you get so far and you get to the place where that encounter happened. Now, remind me, guys, was Finn there for that or was he not yet? I think it was just Jeremy and Bella, correct? So as you're going by, I would like for you to do me a charisma check when you're in that area. And I want to see if Finn picks up on any insecurities that this version of you may have. Okay? The DC will be 13 for you to keep your cool.
I rolled a 16.
Okay.
That's without modifiers.
You don't slow down, you don't hesitate. Finn has no reason to think that you've had a bad experience here or a good one, at that matter. But as you do, you see the spot and you see some of those coins of where this took place. You see a little blood that's been cleaned up and stuff that's either come from Rook or that large bounty hunter like bugbear kind of guy that was messing with you all, this whatever he was, and you can hear his voice as he was threatening Miyasha again. It's like, I'll cut you deep and end your life. You can hear the echo of that voice going through your head, and you feel comfort in the fact that Finn is here. You're glad you made the decision that you did.
Yeah.
But he's ignorant to your feelings right now. He doesn't know. He just thinks you guys are going on, walking up through here. Go ahead.
A behavior that she does, so being that he's not picking up on anything.
Yeah.
He may see her sort of adjust sort of like a robe that she has on as if it was like a little bit cold.
Okay.
Like, tightening it a little bit around her shoulders. What she's actually doing is adjusting it so then there's like almost like a little bit of pressure on her shoulders, so then there's almost like a comfort of like
I get it.
a tension of like a hug or like some sort of comforting like
You
pressure.
would almost, in that moment when you do that, you get that flash again of Hector embracing the two down there below, and then his hand on your shoulder with the last words that you guys shared, which were kind of distant words where you just weren't quite sure. And as you're pulling that shorter and you're having that kind of moment there, a little gust of wind seems to come through and blow through, and then it reminds you of the feeling when he took his hand off of your shoulder when he went back to helping everything break down. And you're just going through kind of like a little bit of a recent memory lane as you're going up there. Okay?
She feels lonely. That's kind of that feeling that sort of, with kind of all those being triggered, I think that's kind of the feeling that sort of settles in sort of the pit of her stomach.
Okay. As you continue to walk up that direction, no sign of Miyasha, no sign of this person that was out to get her, and then you kind of take some reassurance in knowing that was really for her, not me. And as you get to the top of Skywell, you hear a burst of laughter, muffled and distant from the distance, as you look at the infamous crow's nest, well lit up and active as it can be, but it's in the distance. Do you remember what the crow's nest was? It was this large building that looked like a telescope, like kind of like the Eiffel Tower kind of thing. And it was this large place that had like a big wrap-around deck on the top. Looks like a large crow's nest, where this thing almost looks like a hybrid between a telescope and the main middle mast of a ship. And you know it as a place of gambling and a place of drinking and whatever else. When you first came by this before, you realize that this, I think it was Ran. Was it the guy's name? Was it Tavaster? Yeah, it was Tavaster. And he looks like a roguish, large, hat-wearing version of like Val Kilmer from the Doc Holliday Val Kilmer that you've seen in Tombstone. And he plays like a swashbuckling person to own this. And the coins that were laying around the street all had his face on them, if you remember that. He talked to you briefly, I think, Azara, as you were first walking by here. There were also two elven women that were surrounding him that kind of looked like Liv Tyler, with green eyes and black hair, and they were very scantily dressed, and they were kind of walking around outside trying to coax people to come in and acting like showgirls and shit like that around the front of this building. It sounds like the games are running late and they're running strong, and there's all kinds of fun stuff going on inside there right now. Good night, sweetie. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. So that's running strong, and Finn is just looking at that place curiously. There's something kind of Gollum-esque about him. There's something very kind of cold and calculated about Finn. He's very proper, and when he looks at things like this in nature, he's not like, oh yeah, let's go, He's kind of looking at this like, what is this? This is strange. Why would they Why are they up this late? Why are they doing this? You know, he has that kind of Spockness about him, if you will. Yeah. And as you continue on, if you choose to go that direction, you may. If you want to roll to see if there's anything there that perks your interest, you are allowed to do that too. Or I can assume that you all are continuing walking past that towards where you know Leah's is. Of course, okay. As you continue on, you pass the place where you first met Rook. And you remember, in that moment, it kind of comes back to you. Did he know what he had on him? And you just find yourself, you know, you're used to putting on a performance. You're not an outright liar, Azara, but you are a performer, and you can be deceitful when you need to be. You can also be very secretive. You can be very dangerous if you're backed into a corner against your will. And you can't help but search your mind and think back to seeing this large, somewhat humble, yet helpful person. Could he have known what he was getting ready to unleash on us? How did he fool me? He either fooled me or he didn't know. And both frustrate you. Once again, roll me a charisma check, please. Mm-hmm. With this one, you find yourself standing. You've stopped. And you're looking at that pillar, like we said, that pedestal where the people throw the ledger books down and read out the names and stuff. You guys saw Tala Brinston, the small gnomish-like wizard that was calling out the names of that floating scrolls that circled around him as he snatched them out of the air and read off names of the people. You remember seeing that as you hear the echoes of that high-pitched voice of his calling out Rook's name with no last name as a piece of paper blows across the ground in the silver and white snow. Because it blows and the wind is a little bit more bitter up here. And you find yourself stopping and thinking about it. And Finn, in a softer voice, says to you, he says, "Has something happened here?" He closes his eyes for a minute and holds his hand and he casts something and you're not quite sure what it is. And he looks around. He reaches over and he picks up one of those pieces of paper and he looks at it. And he smells it, rubs it through his fingers and goes, "The remnants of magic have been cast upon these pages, but I sense no immediate danger here. Are you okay? Why do you linger? For the smell of food is not on the air either." Pretty good stuff here, guys. I'm sorry, I hope it's not boring, Colby and Jeremy. Are you guys enjoying the show? Okay, it's pretty neat stuff. And Bella, I don't mean to make this, and it's not really heavy. It's just some cool role play shit's happening here. So I hope you're enjoying it. Just fucking take it, man. What are you saying?
I'm trying to think what she would even say.
Remember, shock and awe and nothing is an option too. In the real world, sometimes people can't think of what to say. You know, it's all right.
Yeah, the only sort of word that comes to mind for her that she could remotely maybe say would be perspective, but even that doesn't feel right. So I think she kind of just says like just like a breath, like a
Okay.
type thing.
That's perfect. That's fine. Okay. Having said that, you finally pick up and continue on. Okay? And as you're making your rounds and stuff, and you're getting close to where you think Leah's place would be, you see the sign. And there's this, you can't help but naturally smile. You can't help but let it out. The lights are on. At this point, it's going to be about 12:30, 12:45 a.m. Okay? And the lights are on. And there's a couple people that leave and come out of the door. Okay? The man is laughing, intoxicated, and he has a woman with him that he's covering with his cloak, as she seems to be pretty, but she's louder than you like. And they're leaving this place, talking as their voices kind of echo out into the emptiness up here, somewhat muffled by gusts of winds. And every once in a while, when the wind gusts by, you look over, and you still can't get used to the idea that there are airships docked, floating within eyesight of you. As their loud voices echo as they open up Leah's for a minute, and then the smell hits you. Oh my God, when the smell hits you. When that door opens up and there's two half-drunk, loud people walk out of there, wrapping each other up from the cold. Lovers, obviously, from the way they're acting. These smells of seafood and spices, and almost like Caribbean-like spices like the ones we would know, just seem to explode out of that door. And you hear a bit of music being played from the inside, but softly, on wooden instruments. Okay? But you also hear like a drum beat, like a bongo drum beat. And as the door shuts, you can still barely detect the thump of it in the background. You can still kind of hear it. Your mind wants to trace it, to hear it, to find it. You know what I'm saying? And the airships to the side, it's neat how they rock, like boats in the water when the wind blows through this place. It's very interesting in how quiet and desolate it all is. As you're walking up that direction, all of a sudden you hear a voice. And it looks like there was someone sitting in between some crates, about half drunk. And what you first hear is a and you hear the pop of a bottle coming off of someone's mouth. And Finn takes a step to the side, not offensively, but between you and whoever this person might be. Okay? And you hear a voice. You ain't got to worry about anything like that. I'm just cold and trying to keep it out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about me. I got plenty of coin. Just got off the Duluth. It was a longer trip than I had planned on. Pretty good though. And he holds up a sack of coins and sits it down on the crate beside him. And as it does, a couple copper and silver pieces fall out. He goes, You ain't gonna try to take none, are you? Just looking around. Oh, he's just like that. He grabs that bottle and he starts drinking on it again. And he says, "What are you guys out here anyway? This is awful. It's awful early for people to. Where are you headed?" And at that point, Finn says, "I don't think where we're headed is exactly any concern of yours. And he gives a nod, like a good day, right? Do you have anything to say in this moment?
I think, if anything, she would simply say, like, food.
He looks at you. He says, "Oh, are you going to Leah's, aren't you?" She kicked me out of there just a little bit ago, you know. But it's okay, because even though I was an asshole, and a proper one at that, my coin still had value, and she told me that once I chose to sober up, I could come back tomorrow for breakfast. She's got a heart of gold, but sometimes I can't help it. I have a tongue of pure devilish desire and need when I get to drinking my mead. It rhymes. He takes it and he starts getting out some parchment and he gets out some stuff and he goes, "My tongue is a devil What the fuck did I say? I don't care. And he's writing this stuff down. And at this point, Finn kind of looks at you and he kind of goes wide-eyed, like, let's go. Right? He has that kind of look on his face as he ushers you with his arm to continue your way over towards the door with the opening. It smelled amazing.
I think she may be like, well, have a good night, Mr. And kind of leaving that open for his name.
Braun! I like the name Mr. Braun. It sounds like I could own my own ship. That's what I'll do. I'll buy a ship. And I'll sell poems to have it. Mr. Braun and his ship bought of poems. Oh, I've got to write this down. Thank you. And he gets back to it. And he's like, you hear him mumbling things about devil's tongue and mead and the ships and all that shit. He's writing all this stuff down as you guys walk off. His voice is echoing in the distance. Eventually you keep going towards Leah's and it fades out into nothingness. Every once in a while you'll hear a coin like hit glass and a but that's about the most of it you can make once you get so far.
I think she may kind of say kind of quietly under her breath to maybe Finn and maybe just kind of to herself, just kind of be like, Run, an apparent asshole when drunk. Like kind of noting for herself of like an attribute to that name that way. If she's in an area and it's like, oh, Braun's gonna be coming.
Yeah.
If there's meat in the area, to be aware.
Finn lets loose a knowing grin, which is uncharacteristic for he really feels like he's playing that kind of role now. He's being an escort to a degree. And he releases a bit of a grin and he goes, it's so funny how many people were clearly assholes prior to the bottle being empty. It acts as not much more than a gateway for assholes, really. If he were to have a ship, I would almost call it Braun's asshole gateway. I think that works. Is that funny?
I think
Kind of looks at you like he's wanting your verification on if he just said something funny or not.
I think kind of this interaction is almost like a little bit of a breath of fresh air in a sense of it's so ridiculous to her that it's a break from, like, it distracts her from all the feelings she was having.
Yeah.
So I think she just begins like laughing.
Okay. At that point, you hear the door open again, and you hear the loud voice of Leah. And you hear she goes, I'm holding the door for you. Now come on and don't try crushing me again when you come out the door. And you hear this high-pitched voice, and you see this gnomish figure dressed up in a ridiculous outfit. Like he's trying to dress up as if he is from the coastal regions of Tenosia. Like he's dressing up like an islander to a degree. And that seems to be the theme in this place, right? And he's dressed up in it, and he's got this large half-full barrel that he is trying to roll out there on the iron ring on the bottom of it at a corner. He goes, well, if you'd actually get someone that was large enough to move these things, this is just ridiculous. Could you hold it a little wider open? And she says, now listen, you've got to just calm down. Let me get over the door. Oh, child, you. And she looks over. She goes, you over there giggling in the car. Come here and help me hold this door open for this little fella. He ain't built for this.
Azara she would have already been moving in that direction to help open it.
Okay, at that point, when you do to go open the door, she goes, oh, thank you. Just hold a little higher up there like that. The more pressure on the top of the door, the better. There you go. Good job. Great job. And as you're holding that door, Finn goes over there and he kind of looks at the gnome wrestling with the barrel, and he tries to help him support it a little bit. As the two chatter back and forth to themselves and roll that barrel along the side, you kind of watch them drift off together, and you see him just more than willing to help this guy. Didn't even ask, you know what I mean? It's just kind of a neat thing to see. And at that moment, you feel a slap on your shoulder. And when you do, it's Leah, and she's looking at you going, "What are you looking at him like that for?" And she kind of grins, and she goes, "Things have changed since I saw you last appear earlier today."
I apologize. We have not met. My cousin, however, was here.
Yeah, that's true. So let me see how I get myself out of this one as a DM. Let's say, no, I don't want to do that because I am wrong. So she didn't see you earlier up here today. The comment would have been the same. She would have saw
There's
you
like a
staring at him.
familial.
Yes.
There is a familial.
Well, okay. Oh, let's do
resemblance, kind of.
this. As she comes in a little closer, and she squints and moves her eyes like this, you smell rum coming her from her. She goes, "Oh, that's my mistake. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I thought you were someone else completely. I apologize."
It's okay. We are family after all, so it makes sense.
She goes, "If you're coming in each, you need to do it now because there's not much left of the stuff that I was making all day earlier today. But the good news is, girl, it's been savoring in its own juices and working all day long. It's the best it's going to be. Tomorrow, probably not the same case. But for tonight, you've came at the right time. And you don't even look that drunk yet. I hate the after-party crowd. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. There's people coming over from the crow's nest. I want this and I want that, and I spend my money on this. Those stupid coins don't do me any good here. I can't buy more stuff with any of that money." Having said that, what kind of coin do you have that you want to bring in here tonight? It's not that expensive, mind you. I try to sell so much a day. You know, let's talk about this inside. It's too cold out here.
I'm looking to get 5 servings of your best. So here, 3 to go.
5. I believe I can muster up 5. Let me go in there and look and see what I've got. Come on inside and have yourself a seat. There's plenty of them there. And I'll get with you guys as soon as I can, okay? He's cute, by the way. And she smiles. And she goes, "I'll be watching you." And then she walks off and kind of sarcastically flips her apron around, kind of like a bird showing off its tail feather as she walks back into the establishment. And with that moment, let's go ahead and end for tonight. Okay? We'll take up on what happens inside of Leah's, and then we'll continue on. Maybe someday this week, Jeremy and Colby, with finishing what you guys are up to. Then we can decide where you guys are going to go from there, so we can get the group kind of back together again and meet up with the 2 folks that mysteriously helped you when you were in the Netherfall. Does that make sense? Okay. That was a lot of fun. It's good stuff, man. Had a little bit of combat, a little bit of role playing, a little bit of things that makes it good. I like it. So, from all of us here from the Tales of Ulran, thanks again for hanging out and watching this with us. I have a ball telling stories and creating them with these people. Hopefully we will see you guys again next Sunday night. So, have a good one.